Hi guys, welcome to a nerdily fun video. Like, if homeschool planning is fun to you and you like trying different things every homeschool year to see what works for you, then this is going to be a fun video. If that's not your idea of fun, I'm not sure why you even clicked on it, but today I'm going to be sharing our loop schedule for the fall. I'm trying something a bit different. I talked about this a while ago when I talked about my idea of merging Charlotte Mason and unschooling and how I want to create a loop schedule for us to spend some time together. My kids are very different as far as interests and where they're at academically, but I don't want them to be just their own little islands as they're learning. I want there to be some time where we come together, and that is my plan for our loop schedule. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So everything on the loop is going to be our group subjects. These are the things we do together. They will also have things they're doing on their own. For unschooling, I'm going to be really focusing on their strengths and interests, and they're going to be doing stuff that way alone. There's some other subjects we're going to be doing together that are not a part of our loop. And then there are also things that I'm going to be assigning them. I'm currently working on something I'm very excited about. It's like a guided, it's like a curriculum. What is it? I haven't figured out what I'm calling it. It's very much a guided journal, especially for my son. I might make one for my daughter as well. I'm doing it in pixel art, like Minecraft, like Nintendo kind of theme, where there's different subjects, a few different pages to do each day, and over the course of like a week they'll cover most of the subjects. And I was just trying to make it fun but educational, and also just kind of like a guided step into independent learning. My hope is that he can do most of this on his own or with very limited questions. We're just kind of like guiding towards the independent learning there. So that's all on top of our loop schedule. I've written a list, changed a few things around. I'm hoping I've created a loop schedule that will work for us. So if you're new to the whole idea of loop scheduling, the idea is, let's say you have an hour every day for your school, and you have like 6 subjects you want to do, but you obviously can't fit 6 into that time frame. So the first day you work for an hour, let's say you get the first 2 done, then the next day you get 1 done, and the day after that, for some reason, you don't actually do anything off your loop schedule. That happens all the time. Maybe it was a field trip, maybe something went wonky, maybe everyone woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Maybe the next day you get another, let's say you're very good and you get all 3 things done, and then so the next day you just like start back with your loop and you go through however many of the subjects you can get done during your time. That is your loop. And so I've been thinking about this. I think our loop is probably going to be an hour long, give or take. We're gonna test a few things out. So my plan right now is an hour long. And for my loop schedule, this was a revolutionary idea. Now, Julie Craigie, she had a talk in our homeschool summit back in May, which if you didn't grab the homeschool summit videos, you still can. I'll leave a link for them below. But what she mentioned just blew my mind, and I feel like maybe it shouldn't have, but I never heard of this in regards to a loop schedule before. She said you could have some things on there multiple times. Is that mind-blowing? Is it just me? Because I wanted to create a loop schedule, but not everything is equally important, and I didn't just want to spend more time on one thing. So you'll notice as we go through the loop schedule, I think there's 2 items that I have on here more than once because I wanted them to happen more frequently. And like I said, it blew my mind. So here's what our loop schedule looks like. I'm gonna read it through and then I'll break down like the plan for each one. So number 1 is nature study. Then we've got history, grammar/spelling, math, poetry tea time, nature study again, art/artist study, a handicraft, geography, grammar/spelling again, and then composer study/music study, and then we'll loop back. So nature study is on there twice, and so is the grammar/spelling. And I think this is gonna work really well. So here's what we're gonna do for each of these subjects. For nature study, I am creating nature journals. I've actually never like created just a general nature journal, and I do want to get them printed. I often get a lot of my stuff printed on Amazon. So I'm going to be doing that for our nature journal, but we are just going to be going in nature, and my kids will have their journals. I'm going to pack a nature bag, which I think the cat wants to be let out of the room. It may have already been up on a YouTube short. If not, it will be soon. I'm going to show you what I'm packing in my nature bag. I'm going to let the cat out and then we'll keep talking. Okay. Yeah, so really what I want for this nature study time is just for them to spend time in nature. So I'm going to have resources for them, like their nature journal and like bird books and like that kind of thing. They don't have to use them. I just want them to spend time in nature. If they want to just sit and enjoy and observe and feel the sun on their face or watch the animals, whatever, I'm fine with that. If they want to go play in the trees, build a fort, play with sticks, I'm also fine with that. If they want to like walk through nature, that's good with me too. I just have found how helpful being in nature is. I love going for daily walks, but there's also something to just like sitting there. And so I'm going to have resources available for them if they want to do other things. But I just want us to spend some time in nature doing whatever it is we feel like doing. So after nature study, we have history. And so for this, I'm going to be picking different time periods or events, and we're going to be watching videos, reading books, etc. And I think each time this comes up in our loop, we are going to do a different time period or event. Unless they get really into one, then I might extend it. But a lot of my plan with this loop schedule is like spreading a feast, exposing them to a bunch of different things and helping them to find things that might interest them. Maybe they kind of already knew it, maybe they didn't. So that's my plan for history. So I'm going to be doing some detailed planning there, trying to figure out what I all want to cover, or at least having a number of different ideas so I can start gathering some resources. After history, we have grammar / spelling. This might mostly just be spelling. My son actually asked for spelling tests this year, so I'm going to be doing that. I don't, like, other than short little periods of time, we've never really done spelling tests. Every now and then they ask for some, so like I'm more than willing to create a spelling list, do some spelling practice, etc. And then we're going to be doing math, which is going to be an interesting one for us to do as a group subject. But we're going to give it a try. I think I'm going to use maybe like the Good and Beautiful's videos, because their videos are all free. And then instead of using their like workbook or worksheet, maybe we'll do some like hands-on like manipulative practice for whatever the lesson is. So I'll probably pick a math grade level in between there, so they're like grade 5 and 8. So we'll either go on like kind of the lower end, or I'll pick something in the middle. We'll see how that goes. And then I had to throw in poetry tea time, because that is one of my favorite parts of homeschooling. My kids, they still just never love it as much as I do. They love the tea time portion, the snacks and the hot chocolate that we usually have. The poetry, I have not got them on board yet, but I don't care. It's one of my favorite things and we're going to keep doing it. I only put it in here once just because I thought I would, take them into consideration, but sometimes you have to do the things that mom wants to do too. So we just read poems. Everyone picks a couple poems. They often reread some favorites. I try to introduce them to some new ones. It's a great time. I love it. Plus, who doesn't love snacks? And oh yeah, we're more of a hot chocolate, sometimes tea kind of family. And I'm not opposed. I was actually thinking kind of incorporating the tea and hot chocolate and snacks kind of into all the things on our loop schedule. Maybe not nature studies so much. Just to make this a fun, like going for the atmosphere and vibes of this learning. Is it something that we want to do? And it's fun and cozy, and I'm just all about those kind of vibes. So then next on the loop schedule, we would be back at nature study again for our second round. So we just go hang out outside. Then I've got an artist / art study. I might pull some of these from Ambleside. So we'll look at different pieces of art and different artists. We'll learn some of their history. I think that's pretty straightforward. Then we've got a handicraft. I think we're gonna try a few different things. If you guys have handicraft suggestions, I'm always open to those. I find it can be hard to find some that we like. Yeah, but I like the idea of it. I like being crafty. Then we're gonna go do grammar / spelling again. So like I said, we might incorporate some grammar, but I think to start, if they're willing to do spelling tests, we'll start with that. And then maybe that will switch over to grammar after the spelling has lost the excitement. Then we're gonna do geography. I love geography. So we have studied a lot of different places. I think I'm going to just pick a different country every time. My plan is to find some more obscure countries, because whenever I ask them the countries they want to learn about, you know, obviously they pick the ones that they already know a little bit about. But I'm gonna try to find some obscure ones. And then we do have I have some people that are like travel vloggers that I like to watch. And so I'm gonna see if some of them have been to some more obscure places and we can maybe watch like a vlog, something a little bit different, not completely like an educational video of the best things to do in this place, but something just a little bit more like what life actually is in these places. And then the last thing on my list is music / composer study. Once again, I might use Ambleside online. They kind of have a list. I think every few years they kind of loop back to the different composers and stuff. I don't know a whole lot about music, or art in general, so that it would be helpful for me to use that as a resource. And then that is officially our loop. And then we start back at the beginning with nature study, and then history, and then grammar / spelling. And that is my plan for our together learning for the first half of the school year. I think I'm gonna revisit it maybe like around Christmas time and see how it's going, see if we want to add different subjects in, take some out. I'm sure I'll check in. I would love to hear how you guys are structuring your homeschool this year. If you have ever done a loop schedule, or if you're interested, let's just chat all things homeschooling down in the comments. Thanks for being here, guys.